Hello, everybody. This is David Tress for theloveofplay.com. Today we're doing a spotlight on This War of Mine. This is a game based on the siege of Sarajevo during the Bosnian conflict. The most notable thing about this game on its surface is that instead of focusing, occupying the role of a soldier, you are playing as civilians, or you're in charge of taking care of some civilians and sort of uh, seeing the civilian side of what it is like to be in an occupied war zone, an active war zone. Um, it's not a straight action game. This is much more of a sort of a sim. Like, you are keeping up your house and keeping up the spirits and uh, making sure that all of the people in your party are fed and well rested, and taken care of when they sustain injuries. Um, and everything that happens to them in the game has direct effect upon their mood, or their state of well-being. So right now we have these three. We have Pavel, who, can we learn a little bit about Pavel? Before this whole mess begun, I lived with my wife and son in a better part of the city. He's not sure if his wife and son are even alive anymore. He's not doing so well. He was a football player. Um, so that sort of leads to his character trait of fast runner. So that means all of these things have sort of informed the role that these characters are going to take on. So Pavel, I'll probably lean on as my main scavenger, uh, just because he's quick, uh, can get stuff done at a faster rate than my other two party members. Um, Katia has bargaining skills, so if I ever need to do anything diplomatic or go and trade for medicine or weapons or food, I'll lean on Katia. And then we have Bruno, who's a good cook. So I'll probably keep Bruno around here. Uh, keep the other two healthy. So the other thing, oh boy, there's a real life clock on this game. I forgot about that. So Katia is sick, so that's a thing that you really have to consider. Let's uh, let's start by just sort of scrounging in our own house to see if there is anything around um, that we can use. So this is the basic sort of inventory and scavenge screen, and it just tells you everything that you find over on the right, and then our items over on the left. We'll just grab all right now. Um, and when you're in your base, you sort of, I think you might have unlimited um, inventory slots, but when you're out scavenging at night, which is a big piece of this game, you have a limited amount of inventory slots based on the size of your backpack that your character has. Okay, so we got some food now. It's raw food. Maybe we can have Bruno cook that up. Got a lockpick. No medicine or anything, which would be great for Katya. Hmm. So I really like the look of this game. Actually, this sort of, it's almost like a pencil shader effect that's in constant motion, or a filter uh, that I just see is really effective. I think you can actually turn that off, but I really uh, think it does a effective job of sort of communicating the grim tone of this game. Um, what is this? What's this hand? Um, So this is totally intimidating, though. I'm not sure if there is a. Here, let's put Katya in the chair. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. Um, you're sort of just released into this house with just this whole mess of icons, many of which you cannot go and interact with. Bruno, get up. What are you? Jeez. It's locked. He's got a lockpick. I don't know if that's what we want to use our lockpick on. We might want to use that when we're out scavenging. A bed. It looks like we have everything to make a bed. So, and then we place that. I'm going to place it down here. I think, if my memory serves me right, I think it's warmer down there. And I can also put a furnace, somewhere in the house. Let's see what else we can do. So yeah, this is this icon right here is the thing you interact with to build things for your house, and then this is the upgrades for your house, the one to the right of it. Stove. Let's make that so we can get people some food. Let's put that in the kitchen. I heard this game described as like, if the Sims made a game where, your Sims are in a conflict area, this would probably be pretty similar to what you'd be doing. I think that is actually a pretty apt description, because a lot of the game, when you're boiling it down to sort of the reductive mechanical level, is just like meter management, making sure that people are not too tired, too sick, too hungry, too cold. What can we make? Oh, I need, what are these? Fuel. I'll have Pavel go make some more fuel, if we can. Katya is laying down on the bed now. That's good. Okay, and now it's night, so we sort of choose roles and have Bruno guard, and have Katya sleep in the bed, and I'm gonna have Pavel go out and scavenge. So these are the different areas that we can go and check out. Here's our shelter down at the bottom, and then we have all these different options, these 3 different options. And each one has a brief description of the place. This neighborhood recently got shelled, and many houses are still burning. People were fleeing for their lives in a hurry, so we may find some useful stuff without meeting anyone. So that sounds like safe. That sounds, we are weaponless right now. So that sounds like a good place to start out. Lots of food, huge amounts of materials, some meds, which is good because we need to get some meds for Katya. And then I'll take the lockpick, just in case there's something locked. In later missions or in later like scavenge runs, you may want to take a weapon or some bandages, things like that. But a lockpick is the only real useful item we have right now. Okay. So yeah, just due to the nature that it's just one person that you're controlling during these scavenger missions, I find them to be a little more active and involved, and sort of they're definitely way more tense than the day part of the cycle. And you almost always find more than you can carry when you're out scavenging. So my sort of the way that I tackle it is I just grab everything and then fill up my bag really quick, and then when I come across items that I see as more necessary, okay, then I will replace one of my less necessary items. Okay, so this red circle that's sort of rippling out is a person. So I'm going to want to kind of be quiet. Looks like they're walking over to the stairs. Ooh, that's gonna be good. Get rid of... What should I get rid of? Maybe I'll get rid of this. Keep the wood. And take the bandage. So yeah, there's someone up there. I think rats can sort of put that ripple out as well. We'll see in a second if it's a rat or not. Okay, looks like whatever it is moving back. But yeah, it's always, you know, really tense because, you know, I have really no idea whether or not the person's going to be armed, whether or not it's going to be a person who wants to bargain or trade with me. But one of the things that I'm really, really enjoying about this game is that there are not many games that when you're coming across, you know, non-person characters, oh, okay, it was just a rat, where you have to consider anything other than how am I going to dispose of this person, like how will I get past them or, you know, defeat them in combat. This is really, there's this huge spectrum of interactions that that can take place every single time you meet a different character, which I just think is really effective and just, you know, makes the game far more interesting than if it was just a straight up stealth game where you just have to avoid these people or else you're going to have to either engage in combat or you're going to be killed. I think it just makes it much more interesting and is much more compelling. It compels you to come back to it and want to keep on scavenging every night. Okay, what's going on over here? Okay, got some books. So yeah, books and stuff similar to it are so like basically bandages will, you know, increase your health if you're wounded. Food decreases hunger. Water decreases thirst, and then books sort of up morality. There are moments in this game where, and we may come across one of them, where you are sort of set up to make some pretty, like, morally in the black decisions. You know, stealing medicine from families who need it, you know, killing innocents. You can do all that stuff in this game, but it will wreak havoc on your character's sort of state of mind. They'll fall into, you know, spells of depression. You know, other people, your other party members might attempt to distance themselves from it. So things like a book are helpful because it, you know, it allows for a bit of escapism. You can also build a radio in your shelter that sort of achieves the same thing. What is this? Herbs. Okay. So we have coffee, roll up cigarette, fertilizer. Okay. Now we are getting to the point where we need to make some decisions about what we need the most. So absolutely we're keeping bandages, lockpick, clean water, that's important. I'm gonna take out the herbs, keep the books, grown tobacco. Cigarettes are great for trading. A lot of people like cigarettes that come and trade with you at your house. And then coffee is also great for trading. Let's replace this piece of food with the coffee. Okay, that should, and then there's weapon parts as well, but yeah, we have enough sugar, I believe, so let's take the weapon parts instead of that. Okay, so now we have an option. I think this door up here on the second floor is also requires a lockpick, so we can either lockpick this or go up there. I think that, I think I'm gonna use the lockpick on the upstairs door. And I forget what time nighttime ends. I think it might be 6 o'clock. But yeah, so you do have a limited amount of time to get all this done, which is that time frame is really heightened when you are also in a house attempting to, avoid other people. Okay. Hopefully there's something worthwhile up here. Okay, a lot of parts, a lot of wood, and I think, if I remember correctly, you're able to return to places if, you see, if you can't carry everything that you currently have. We can come back to that if we want to end up going with that. Those materials would be very helpful when you're sort of in a situation where you need to upgrade your shelter. Another book, and then this is a valuable piece of valuable bartering item, so we'll get rid of that, put this in. So right now we're looking pretty good as far as what we have, what we found. Let's just keep looking. Oh, this is, I'm clearing out rubble there to get to this lockbox. But since I don't have a lockpick, we don't need to spend time doing that. So a lot of wood here. But I mean, that is good to know. We could always come back if we need to build. And I think that's everything. I think we can return home now. Okay, so that's a successful night. No meds, I believe, but we can, feed some people. I think we will be able to feed everyone, and then work on our shelter a little bit. All right, Pavel is stoked. Okay. Alright, so Katya is still in bed. So she's recovering. Let's get Bruno up here. Get him to make some food. We'll get Pavel down there because we need some fuel before we can make our food. And then we'll be able to. What's the difference between these? Oh, it's just 2 at once. Okay. But yeah, we need to feed everyone. Okay, here's our fuel. So yeah, the more you play of this game, is there any difference between these? Oh, okay. They just so yeah, you can make fuel out of books, out of what are these components or pieces of wood. I'm just gonna use wood because that is what I have the most of, I believe. Is that right? I guess I have the most components. Yeah, components. Oh, but it requires a lot more. Let's do that. But as you sort of come back and play the dynamic of this game is really just, base building, taking care of people during the day, then going out and getting the things that you become aware that you need during the day, as far as like, oh, I'm limited, I can't build this thing that I need, I can't build a chair or a water filter or a stove. Um, these are the pieces I need. This is what I'll keep an eye out for my next night scavenging. Okay, so now that we have the fuel, we can just do that, and then we'll make one more, and then we'll have our 3 meals. Katya, why don't you go check here? I don't think we've scavenged in there yet. Pavel, why don't you just go over here, scavenge in there. Grab all, got another lockpick, that's great. If we wanted to, we could go back to that same cottage tomorrow night and open up that lockbox that we could not last night. And then we'll get these 2 over there to start digging through this rubble. Oops. Okay. Hello, it looks like... Here, you can go rest. Bruno. Pavel can go eat. Yeah, so I think this game does tension really, really well. Like, even during the day, you want to be, you want your characters, your people to be in the best health that they can be in for when the night comes, because one of them has to stay up to guard, only one of them can rest. Oops. I'm gonna send Bruno back up here to cook. I'll have Pavel come here. You know what? I'll switch her. I'll have Pavel go dig, and then she can eat once Bruno cooks her a meal. But that's one of the things where you sort of have to consider the character attributes, because Bruno is our best cook. So even though he was down in the bed, we gotta wake him up. We need some grub, Bruno. Then send Pavel down to do something that he is better suited for. Okay, now Katya can eat. Bruno can go back to bed. Okay. You know what? I think actually I'm gonna send Pavel to sleep. Bruno sit in a chair. And then, because I'm gonna send Pavel out again tonight. So it'll be good for him to get a little bit of rest. But the ticking clock really does do a great job of heightening the just the tension of the game. It gives you that sense that you really, you have a very limited amount of time to get everything that you need to get done, and it's a game that really rewards efficiency in how you play it, which I really like. I think it does. I when I first heard about this game, I just had no idea that it was going to be so like deeply seeped in complex systems and mechanics. But everything here just works so well together. I really, really like it. And then, I compared it to The Sims earlier. But the truth is, the actual content and, what The Sims are actually doing is so uninteresting to me. But this, there is that added tension. There is this looming threat that someone could you know, stuff could always go wrong. Um, so do we want to, yeah. So this is like the risk reward stuff. We could go back to the shelled cottage. I don't think there'll be anyone there. So you're gonna guard, you're sleeping in bed, you're scavenging again. Yeah, but let's look if there's lots of meds. Okay. Let's go there because we really need to get Katya feeling better. And there's huge amounts of weapons, danger at the bottom. So that means we're probably gonna run into someone. They don't seem friendly. Okay. Let's go to this. Wait, some meds. Let's go. Okay, this sounds good. There's lots of meds here, and it's only caution advised, which means we might run into someone, but whether or not they're going to be, aggressive is going to be, it's going to be lessened than if we went to a place that was at the danger rating. Okay. Take all of that. So when you double click, that's when I'm sprinting, but I'm not going to want to do that because these red circles could belong to people. Okay. But yeah, here's an example of where I think that sort of constant motion filter effect just looks so cool against the brick of this old church. Okay, so these guys got jacked pretty recently. They don't really have any. Okay. So this is an example of, morally questionable, stuff going on here. Is this guy's just asked me to like leave him alone. They got robbed recently. He's not being aggressive outright. But I still need to go and oh, here, is this the ladder? How do I get down there? But I still need to go and get meds because someone in my party is sick. Yeah, here we go. Let's go through here. So that's an example of a guy sort of telling you, you know what, I kind of want to explore this system and just see, what happens if I do not follow this guy's directions. I may have to fight him. You know what, I might just fight him now. Sort of a preemptive strike. Oh wow, he's got a knife. Well, and Pavel died. So that's sort of an example of how quickly something could go wrong. And now with only 2 people left, this game just got a whole lot harder. I don't believe that there's an endpoint. We got raided. This was a terrible night. Okay, so that's just an example of just how quickly, this is day 3, and stuff is already just looking so grim. And here's an example of just how everything you're hungry now, slightly sick, sad, and tired, which is just makes them a lot less effective at doing what they need to do. You'll sometimes ask people to go and dig through a pile and scavenge, and they just end up sitting in a chair. But yeah, this War of Mine. I think it's really a fantastic game, and I'm definitely going to keep on playing it. And it's on Steam, I think, is the easiest way to get it. And I think I picked it up for like $20. It may have dropped since then. That was back in fall. But yeah, go check this out if you're interested. And I will see you all later. Bye.